Hello everyone, I'm Jai Ahmed and I'm involved in training and development of supply chain management. Today, I'm thankful again that peer, uh, my teacher, my mentor, Mr. Aftab Khan has joined me again in a session, but this time this is a very different and very exciting session. Today, we will be discussing cybersecurity and supply chain management. So, sir, thank you very much for joining me in this session. How are you?
You're welcome. I'm very well, Zia. And how are you doing today?
I'm fine, sir. Sir, you are a practitioner of this profession, and from last many years, you must be keeping an eye on all these topics or aspects of cyber security. So, what do you think that awareness about it is growing, or people are just not taking too much care about it so far?
Awareness is growing, but not to the extent that it should be. People should be more aware of cyber risks to their supply chains.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So, sir, now we will start formally. So, sir, I want to know from you first of all that these days we hear a lot about cyber risk and cyber security. So, what is this all about basically?
Well, Zia, this is the information age. Almost all of our businesses, transactions, and much of our personal lives
Hmm.
depend on exchange of information. All
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
In that context, information is the most precious asset in today's world.
Yes.
It is similar to currency. Now, can you imagine leaving your cash and other valuables somewhere without protection?
Mhm.
Of course not.
Yes.
So security is security. It is security of physical assets, your personal belongings,
Yes.
security of life, and security of information. So
Yes.
similarly, confidential information that can be potentially used for illicit purposes cannot
Mhm.
be left exposed to unauthorized access.
Yes. So, bottom line is you say that awareness about it has increased, but not to the extent.
Yes, that's my understanding that
Okay.
the way the risks are increasing because of the increase in complexity and global supply chain connections,
Hmm.
the more connections you have, there's more potential of a
Yes.
breach.
Okay, sir. Thank you,
And
sir.
yeah,
Okay, sir. If I want to know that what information is considered confidential and how it can be used for illicit purposes.
yeah, that's very important to understand that any information that can allow access to places like physical facilities or
Yes.
systems, computer systems, databases, or accounts, your
Yes.
account, my account, bank account is considered confidential and
Mhm.
must be protected uh, at all costs. It includes account accesses, IDs and passwords, date of birth, social security number, credit card
Okay.
information, address, and other
Yep.
personal sensitive information.
Yes.
So all that is sensitive information, confidential.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and to go just to further explain,
Yeah.
such information is obtained by hackers through various means,
Yes.
including phishing. Phishing, that the spelling is Phishing,
Mhm.
phishing.
Okay.
Yeah,
PHI, sir. Yes.
exactly. Or a cyber attack. The phishing
Yes.
involves luring the victim into sharing information with a promise of a
Hmm.
large benefit. For example, the
Mhm.
famous prince somewhere waiting to share his fortune of millions of dollars with you and
Hmm.
just wants to know your bank account number so that he can transfer the money to you. Of course.
Yeah, we receive such emails and messages regularly. Yes.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying. So you know what happens next. Once they have your personal information, they can
Mhm.
access your account and wipe it clean or at least cause
Uh,
a big dent.
uh,
On the other hand, in a
mhm.
direct cyber attack, the
Mhm.
hacker would find its way through whatever barriers and firewalls are installed to, to reach the target information. So
Okay.
once the attackers have the information, they
Mhm.
may use it themselves or sell it to others, for example, on the dark web for the same purpose eventually.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, thank you. You clarified it that either we can be at risk from hackers or phishing. Hackers, when someone is too much smart that he can break through our security systems, And phishing, when people send such type of messages and then they get a small information from you and then
Yeah,
cause
and we
either wipe out your bank account or make a big dent to you.
and they make us volunteer our information to them.
Yes. Sometimes people mm, leak their information voluntarily to them and then they
Yeah,
pay the price.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, sir. Next on, when we move, we want to know that who should be concerned more about cyber risk, and is it for individuals like me or for businesses also?
Well, both businesses and individuals are potentially at risk.
Mhm.
So, you have heard stories about individuals being targeted as well as big corporations.
Yes.
The main purpose remains the same, that is to access sensitive information for commercial gains. The
Yes.
tactics may vary depending on how well the system is protected from such attacks.
Yes.
On an individual level, we must keep our passwords well protected and never
Mhm.
share with anyone unless it is a part of a legitimate process,
Mhm.
and then change it as soon as possible after the process is completed.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, in a shared session, if you are working with somebody, technical help, they can view your screen.
Mhm.
Make sure to close all documents and applications that contain such information.
Mhm.
Right, so they are not viewed by anybody. At the enterprise level,
Mhm.
the protection needs to be much more elaborate and robust due
Okay.
to multiple users and interconnected systems. See, I
Mhm.
mentioned that the more connections, the more the potential to of a breach. The
Yes.
risk is much higher because the systems are complex,
Yes.
requiring several checkpoints and access protocols.
Okay.
Corporations are becoming increasingly aware of the
Mhm.
risks involved and are installing security tools to prevent an attack. So
Okay.
that's a good thing. And some corporations actually have fire drills to educate and train their employees to identify a, a potentially risky message, phishing message or email, and not to click on links that
Mhm.
seem suspicious.
Yes. So, sir, if you allow me, I can just quote a very simple example, very famous example, because we are from supply chain profession. So, I think it was in 2017 or 2016 when Maersk shipping lines system was hacked one way or the other. It's a long story, but because Maersk is operating almost one fifth of the cargo sea marine cargo of the world. It's the largest company.
It's
So
big,
what
yeah.
happened that the cargo was stuck in many spots, and then the its effect was not limited to Maersk only. It affected trickled down to many companies. Then,
Is a ripple effect? Is there like a domino effect? Yes, exactly.
yeah. So that you say that it is for important for on personal level and also on the company level. Yes.
Absolutely.
So, sir, now moving forward, how this cybersecurity relate to supply chains in particular, and what are the specific risks?
Oh, that's very important to understand. Supply chains are perhaps the most cross-functional processes in a business, meaning
Yes.
that they link many other departments, both internal and external entities,
Mhm.
vendors, customers,
Mhm.
agencies, so on and
Yeah,
so forth.
yeah.
For that reason, it is more susceptible to cyber attacks, and that's what actually happens. Cyber criminals, they try to find breaches
Mhm.
uh, in supply chain links and connections. Uh, the main processes that integrate such entities like purchasing,
Mhm.
third-party operations, facilities, warehouses, service and maintenance, customer service, logistics, like you mentioned, Mark's lines, and so on and so
Okay.
forth. Yeah,
Mhm.
so supply chain is a prime target
Okay.
of supply chain cyber hackers. And as you mentioned, because of the nature of supply chain, if one area is affected, the ripple effect goes to many other areas and maybe
Yes.
other businesses. The risks are, and the liability risk is great
Yes.
because if a corporation loses their customers' information to a hacker,
Mhm.
it's not just they lose business; they can face legal action from the credit card owners.
Yes.
Why could you not protect our information properly? Since multiple tiers of implications.
Okay, sir, here a question arises that how a cyber attack is generally started. Can you just give us some example? How it is started, from where they started generally?
It is a very fast advancing science, you know. They as the cyber security technology is advancing at a fast pace,
Yes,
but you know the criminals are very smart people. It's just on the
yes,
other side.
yes,
So they are also gaining ground, that they really keep a very close tab on what's going on. They keep developing, investing in new tools
yes.
to counter the new security checks. So it is an ongoing battle, is a challenge. So they happen at the same time. They become more and more sophisticated. Now, uh, to give an example, how cyber attackers may attack a corporation, I'd like to share with you an example of a huge breach that
Yes.
happened at a major retail store, a prime example of supply chain security breach in the United States a few years ago.
Yes.
In this case, the attacker accessed the corporation's database through one of its vendors.
Oh, through one of the vendors. Okay.
Yes, that vendor provided the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning services, or HVAC services, to the corporation.
Okay.
Now, it so happened that the corporation itself was very secure. The system was very secure. They had very sophisticated cybersecurity installation, and the team was very alert and capable. However, the HVAC corporation was a smaller entity. They did have cybersecurity installed, but it was not as great. So the attackers' target was the retail corporation, not the HVAC. They could not get through the cybersecurity software at the retailer. So what they did was, because these guys are smart, they plan their attack, they do the research, they do the fact finding. So they found this HVAC vendor as a soft target. So they found a breach in the HVAC system.
Ah.
Yes, and they planted their malware in their system.
Oh.
And once it is there, established, then they can monitor and regulate it and control it. From there, they found through a transaction, they sent the malware through a transaction between HVAC vendor and the corporation.
Yes.
They launched their malware into the main corporation's system.
Okay. Okay.
Now, it so happened that the system was so strong at the corporation, it sent signals to the IT team. But the signal was not properly received. It was not acted upon.
Okay.
And that gave the attacker the time and the chance to establish and monitor, and then find their way eventually to the database, which contained their customers' credit card information, which were in millions basically. Right. And I'd like to share with you the timeline, how it actually happened.
Yes, yes, sir. That will be very helpful.
Yeah, I'm going to share a slide, which
Yes.
is part of our training program on
Yes.
cybersecurity awareness. So bear with me for a second. Let me bring it up, please.
Yeah, yeah, please, sir. That will be very helpful
Yep.
for us and for our viewers.
Yep. Okay. So let's call this company ARC, a retail corporation.
Yes.
Just for confidentiality, it happened many years ago, and it was public. It is on the press. It's public information.
Yes.
If you don't want to bring it up again,
Yes, yes.
no need, right? It was a huge press thing.
Yes.
So ARC is certified as compliant to cybersecurity codes and systems, right?
Okay.
So in September of that year, there are two timelines here. One timeline belongs to the ARC Corporation, which was the target.
Yes.
And this timeline, the below, the bottom timeline is the attacker's timeline, how they proceeded.
Yes.
In September, attackers steal HVAC contractors' credentials. So they breached their vendor system.
Yes.
And then they attacked our ARC network, and then that attacks through the transaction, they went into ARC's network, the main corporation. And then attackers test the malware on ARC's points of sale, POS, where that's where they keep the customer's credit card information, because that's where they
Sir,
charge the
one
invoice
moment. Sir,
and make
I'm
payments.
sorry to stop you.
Yeah,
Sir,
okay.
I have a small question here.
Sure,
Just
go ahead.
in very few words, let us explain malware. What is
Okay,
malware?
yeah, malware, that's a good question. Thank you.
Hmm.
Malware is the name of the software that
Mhm.
attackers use to
Yes.
send as a package to send to your system. It
Mhm.
sits there as a system by itself, and it connects back to the attacker and sends information back to them what they find in the database. So it's like like a spy. It's like a spy.
Like a spy software.
It's a spy software.
Okay, sir. Okay.
A software with malintention. It's called
Software with
malware.
malware. Yes.
So that's a malware.
Yes.
So they launched the malware and ARs. Then they found way through transactions. The
Yes.
malware piggybacked onto a
Yeah.
transaction, and through the
Yes.
transaction went into the point of sale area, the database in
Yes.
ARC. That's where
Oh.
they maintain the payment information for the customers. Of course, they had to charge the credit cards for payments
Yes.
and sales
Yes.
and purchase and all that.
Yes.
So come November, ARC, the main corporation which was attacked, their security software identifies malicious activity. It says
Yes.
that something was not right.
Yes.
And first system breach alerts were triggered and sent out to the team.
In this
Unfortunately,
November.
yes, November. Unfortunately, the team did not consider it serious enough, or maybe they didn't understand the nature of it, so it
Oh.
passed.
Sir, the way you were pointing out earlier that the problem is there, but awareness is not up to level up to
Exactly,
which it is
exactly.
needed.
To
Yes.
be alert enough to not
Yeah.
to let go of any even smallest signs
Yeah.
of security breach.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Now, the attacker got time to fully install the point of sale malware, and then
Hmm.
from there, once they did that, another breach alert was triggered. Again,
In
this was
December.
ignored. It was
Oh.
ignored again.
Oh my God! Ignored second
Unfortunately,
time.
ignored second time.
Oh.
So now
Hmm.
the attackers have the full access, and now what they did was
Mhm.
they used the malware to install upgraded versions of exfiltration malware, which is
Hmm.
the tool that reads the data and extracts useful information for the purpose of abuse and then sends back to the hacker.
Hmm.
And they began extracting data, millions of credit cards information.
My God, it's
Right,
a big effect then.
right. So while that is happening,
Hmm.
at that point of time, ARC started taking notice.
Yes.
And then ARC confirms the breach and remove most software. Now, at that time, before ARC confirmed,
Hmm.
what happened that there are government agencies
Hmm.
who monitor dark web activities,
Yes.
what's being offered, what's being sold for the purpose of national security,
Hmm.
financial security, all those things. So because dark web is the marketplace for all such illicit transactions.
Yes.
So from an agency, it was pointed out to ARC that, hey, we found a large number of credit card information being traded, and that points back to your source. Can you please confirm
Oh.
that everything is okay?
Ah.
So it was the external agency that alerted ARC that they took notice of that, and then they started to remove the malware, but not fully. The
Hmm.
attackers still continue, but they
Hmm.
started losing the foothold, and eventually it was all cleaned up. But before it was cleaned up,
Hmm.
about 70 million total data records were breached.
Oh,
Restored.
the damage was done already.
It was done, and
Hmm.
a lot of follow-on activities and all that.
Hmm.
So that's a prime example.
How to counter such security risks then? Suggest us some good resources for it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we should all be aware.
Mhm.
we don't need to be IT professionals to understand the risk, just as you don't need to be a lock maker or safe maker to protect your valuables.
Yes.
You need to understand the risk, where it's coming from, and
Okay.
what's the best set of tools that you need to protect your information, right?
Okay.
Having said that,
Mhm.
IT professionals should continue to upgrade their skills
Okay.
by taking advanced courses, by learning what's new, what's coming in, and what the attackers are using today, and how they can be countered.
Okay.
On the other hand, the system users,
Mhm.
like professionals, managers who are not IT professionals,
Mhm.
who are supply chain business managers, basically,
Mhm.
they should be aware of how an attack happens.
Hmm.
What's the game plan? What's the methodology? What tools and methods and tactics they use? And be aware
Hmm.
of that. And corporations should conduct information sessions and fire drills and all that. So
Yes.
just to stay alert, just like any other security aspect, this is also similar, and we should be very aware, both the professional IT professionals and non-IT professionals together as a team, we can counter the threat.
Thank you, sir.
For training purposes and for general knowledge as well,
Mhm.
I would just mention one source which is very comprehensive, and then there's a lot of training courses out there.
Hmm.
But the National Institute of Standards and Technology, US,
Hmm.
NIST, which is a government wing,
Mhm.
and the website address is www.nist.gov.
Mhm.
It has a lot of information there and some training programs and links to other training providers. It's a good
Yeah.
resource.
Thank you, sir. If you allow me, can I add something here?
Of course. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I remember when we started using these ERPs in the beginning, we were told that please don't use your personal emails on these systems. This
Yes.
was the starting point. At that time, we did not know that what is the problem if I'm checking my personal Gmail on this system. But later on, then I saw some examples from practical life that some employee who was using this, I know actually one of friend of mine, that one of his employees was using his uh, this Zoom account or other account there on the same system, and
Oh,
that
okay.
account was basically breached. Someone had broken through in that account, and
Yeah.
from there, then they infiltrated into the company account, and then they did a big damage to that company.
Wow. Look at that. Such a small negligence, and what
Yes.
happens?
So even if what I will suggest to my viewers that if you receive such a message from your company that don't use your personal Gmail accounts or personal accounts on these company system machines, don't use them, because
Exactly.
we never know that this is a small mistake, but it might trigger a very big damage later on.
That's true.
So thank you very much, sir. You enlightened us about this. This is people think it as a very technical subject, but you made it easy for us, and you
Yeah.
explained it that we don't need to be IT professionals to know this subject.
Right.
We can become aware for it, and it can affect us personally also. If our personal email and other accounts are breached, then
Yeah.
we can be in a very difficult position.
Yeah.
Same is the case for the companies.
We are
So
stakeholders, all of us, and all of us have responsibility.
yeah. So if I receive some questions from our viewers, sir, will you answer them?
I'll be glad to.
Yeah. So I request my viewers, if you have any questions, you can send us on the email zmareflections@gmail.com, which I will put in the description also. So Mr. Aftab has very graciously agreed to answer those questions. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for your time.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.